This is the worst thing every Bob's Burgers character has ever done, starting with who else but Bob Belcher. Compared to Peter Griffin, who literally farts on his daughter, or Homer Simpson, who strangles his son, Bob is easily one of the most wholesome dads on TV.
Oh my god, am I your hero?
Saying that though, he ain't perfect, because while he's probably the most grounded member of the family, he's known to fly off the spatula at times.
I'm broken, and you did this! You did this, Daddy!
Like in season 2's Moldy Foodie, where Bob took a negative review way too personally, because after the restaurant is given a bad review by the Moody Foodie, Bob hunts down the food critic and forces his way into his home.
Get off of me! Just let me cook you a burger! Ow! Ah, you're biting me!
Bob even goes as far to hold the man hostage, trying to force him to give redos to other restaurant owners around town.
All aboard the burger train. Open up the tunnel.
And if that wasn't crazy enough, he held the delivery driver hostage too.
Breaking and entering, kidnapping, and now opening other people's mail!
It's not what I envisioned.
Bob only escaped punishment for a very real crime because they bribed said delivery driver, and the Moody Foodie decided that he liked Bob's cooking after all.
911, what's your emergency? 911, what's your emergency? Sir?
Bob is usually one of the more restrained members of the family, so his rare outbursts feel all the more extreme as a result.
Your pants are overdone and dry! Look at your dumb face! It's overdone and dry!
As usual with these lists, it's very hard to say that this terrible thing is worse than his other terrible thing. Like, I was tempted to also put down the time that he lied to Linda about the arcade machine, got obsessed over it, and got addicted to pain pills, and almost beat up a kid. But seeing as I could only choose one worse thing, I thought the whole hostage situation does take the patty. So put your choices down in the comment, and who knows, I might end up agreeing with you. There's so many episodes that I'm bound to have forgotten some things. And speaking of forgetting things, when I was making this video, I stumbled across this YouTuber called Tears Trippy TV, and she makes amazing deep dives into Bob's Burgers characters. So I decided to reach out to her to ask her to appear in this video, and luckily she said yes, and was even nice enough to look through my script to see if I missed anyone, and it turns out I missed a bunch. And Terry actually offered to not only write about these characters, but edit her own sections too, so she'll be popping in and out of this video quite a bit.
Hey Lydia, thank you so much for inviting me on your channel to talk about one of my favorite shows, Bob's Burgers. This is a show filled with wholesome family moments and lots of fun laughs, but underneath all of those good vibes, there is a hint of chaos. Actually, more than a hint. There is a ton of chaos in this show. So let's talk about some of our favorite chaotic makers on the show. Critter. The real question is, what hasn't Critter done? Critter is the leader of a biker gang known as the One-Eye Snakes. And they get into biker activities like robbing, buying and dealing and making drugs, trashing bars, setting their traffic tickets on fire, stabbing folks. Whatever criminal activity you could think of, they probably have done. And nothing demonstrates this more than his introduction episodes, Earsy Rider. In this episode, not only did him and his gang take over Bob's Diner and pay with literal blood money, but he also threatened to cut off Logan's ears. Now in fairness, Logan was being a jerk by stealing Louise's bunny ears and pretending to burn them. This drove Louise to revenge mode, and she recruited the One-Eye Snakes to threaten to cut his ears off. Logan fell to his knees, crying and sniffling, and gave the hat back to her. So in fairness, this is more of a perspective thing, right? As an adult, you probably shouldn't threaten to cut off kids' ears with your friends, but at the same time, Logan was picking on someone much smaller than him, so this is just giving Logan a taste of his own medicine. But later, Cynthia, Logan's mom, came to confront Bob, Linda, and the biker gang after Logan snitched.
Those bikers wanted to cut off my ears!
Instead of taking responsibility for her son's bullying, she placed the blame on them and literally started a physical fight with Linda. Cynthia accidentally ripped off Critter's Margaret's vest, and that's when things were about to go left. Bob advised her to apologize and leave, but she refused. They then locked the doors and was prepared to fight and slice up these suburban parents. The only reason they weren't stabbed to death is because Mudflap went into labor. They delivered the baby and all was forgiven, even if Critter was confused on how he was the father of this child.
I still don't understand.
Critter, we had sex and you knocked me up.
Slow down!
Let's now talk about Daryl. So, speaking of Bob trying to fight a kid, this was all thanks to Daryl, who offered to teach Bob how to beat the Burger Boss arcade game in exchange for beating up his bullies. And honestly, I don't even blame Daryl for this. This kid was so desperate to get rid of his bullies. But what I do blame him for is almost killing his friends in Season 4's Fortnite. So, on Halloween night, Daryl joins the Belcher kids as well as Ollie and Andy inside of their cardboard fort, but they end up trapped when a truck blocks the exit. Meanwhile, on the outside, Millie is tormenting the group.
Have fun spending Halloween in a box. Good one, Millie.
The group comes up with a plan to escape, but what does Daryl do? Well, he sells them out. He gives their plan to Millie in exchange for candy and a bathroom break. And of course, she immediately betrays him and thwarts their escape.
You fool! Why would you do this?
I'm weak, Louise. I'm weak.
Daryl does try to redeem himself by using a coat hanger to press a button on the truck to set them free, but he hits the wrong one and accidentally lowers the ramp, therefore crushing the fort. They barely escape with their lives, so not only did Daryl snitch and rat out his friends, but his escape plan backfired so badly that he almost got himself and 5 other kids killed. Dr. Yap. If you ask Louise what the worst thing this dentist has ever done, it's trying to give her a filling.
I'm not getting a filling. Hey, fill this!
Hey!
You back off!
But if you ask me, I'd say it was in Season 2's Dr. Yap. To cut a long story short, Dr. Yap falls for Bob's sister-in-law Gayle and invites her and the Belchers to his timeshare in the snowy mountains. But Gayle already has her eyes set on someone else, her brother-in-law. It's while skiing that Bob wipes out and cracks his tooth, and while lying in pain, Gayle thinks that this is the perfect time to make her move.
I'm not wearing anything under my snowsuit.
Oh my God!
Except for my long underwear and a maxi pad.
This is when Dr. Yap catches them in the act, and to get revenge, he offers to take out Bob's damaged tooth.
It looks to me like you're in need of some serious dental work.
The dentist seems to absolutely revel in the fact that he has no anesthetic, and so forcefully yanks out Bob's tooth with some dirty pliers. I guess you could say that he was doing Bob a favour by removing his damaged tooth, but let's be honest, Dr. Yap just wanted to inflict some pain on Bob. I was close to choosing what he did in the episode Big Fat Greek Bob, where he shaved his head, injured himself, and trashed his old fraternity just to amp up a prank war. And yes, that is pretty bad, but I did think that a doctor relishing in inflicting pain on their patient is far worse.
Next up, we have Doug. If you don't know, Doug is Courtney's father, and he tends to be rather eccentric. One can describe him as overly enthusiastic. He's one of those parents who don't just support their kids, but he actively gets involved in the project. Sometimes that's a good thing, like him producing and writing a music video for his daughter, or helping her write and produce a school play. And sure, sometimes he can get too passionate and throw a shoulder pad at children's face, but for the most part, he's harmless. Though that wasn't the case in the episode Roller, I Hardly Know Her. In this episode, his daughter Courtney was competing in a roller skating doubles competition and she needed a partner, but Gene declined simply because he didn't want to. So instead, Gene's best friend Alex decided to step in to be her partner instead. This caused Gene to be upset that his best friend was too busy to play with him. Later, Gene gets a visit from Doug. Turns out Alex sucked at this and Doug needed him out the competition.
I need you to help me make Alex disappear. No! Yes! What? Maybe! Explain yourself!
Doug used to do competitions like this all the time, so he's vicariously living those glory days through Courtney. So he really wants her to win. He convinced Gene to use Alex's sesame seed allergy against him so that he had to drop out of the competition. Then Gene will swoop in to take his place. You heard me right. This grown, balding man convinced an 11-year-old to purposely trigger another kid's allergy and give him severe diarrhea. all so his kid could win. Yeah, that sounds insane and possibly illegal. Luckily, Gene doesn't end up going through with it and tells the truth to Alex. They all came up with a plan to defy Doug by all skating together. Courtney was on board because she didn't really care about this competition anyway. It was more so her dad's thing. Doug was furious and tried to stop them, but it was too late. And once Alex's mom heard he was literally trying to poison her son, she went mama bear mode and chased him down. Well deserved.
Son of a... Get away from me, Mrs. Papazian! Get away! Escape for your life, Doug!
I personally love that he's such a chaotic parent because you never know what you're going to get from him. Sometimes he's really nice and helpful, but other times he's such a menace. And that's why I love this show so much, because so many characters have the capacity for both genuine kindness and borderline illegal activities.
Felix Fischoeder. After blowing through his inheritance, Felix is always looking to escape his brother's shadow to seek his fortune instead, even if he has to kill for it. In Season 4's Wharf House, Felix conspires with Bob to influence Calvin to sell the amusement park in order for them to build condos. And at first, Bob is on board because it means that he can finally open up his own bistro, but he later changes his mind and convinces Calvin not to sell.
I'm never selling Wonder Wharf. What? Never! Whoa, what?
And naturally, Felix doesn't take this too well, so he does what any sane person would do, which is hold them at gunpoint before then tying them both underneath the pier during low tide.
Felix, come back!
I will. Later. I'll see you when you're dead. Bye-bye.
Help!
And as the hours pass by, the sea rises higher and higher. And for a cozy comedy like Bob's Burgers, I have to say that this got pretty dark. Eventually, Felix's conscience catches up with him, so he grabs a paddle boat and heads out to save them. And his bright idea to free them is to shoot blindly into the water to break their binds.
So, just going to, shoot into the water to undo the ropes?
No.
And just when he's about to jump in, his new girlfriend pulls out a gun on him. She then instructs the rest of the Belcher family to jump in the water, and so, believing that they're all about to die, the Belchers declare their love for one another. And right when she's about to shoot Bob, he has one request.
Before I die, I would really like to hear one of your songs.
Just like Bart distracting Sideshow Bob by making him sing, she gets distracted long enough for Linda to knock her from the boat. Linda then frees Bob right before the pier collapses. So, what's Felix's punishment for attempted murder? Nothing. His brother lets him off the hook.
We can't send him to jail. He'd hate it there.
He tried to kill us.
Not really. We were just, wrestling.
Gayle. Man, I am so spoiled for choice for Gayle. She might just be the most disliked character on the show. There's so many hate posts about her on the Bob's Burgers subreddit, and honestly, it's not hard to see why. Like, she literally steals other people's cats.
Oh, it was so sad. He was just sitting on someone's porch. Poor little guy. Just sitting there. Just sitting there in the sun.
A cat is a member of the family, so the fact that she snatches them is so messed up and cruel. Or how about that time that Bob pulled her on a sled through a snowstorm, thinking she was injured, only for her to then reveal that she was totally fine.
Fine. I was faking it for attention.
What? Are you serious?
I can go on and on, but I'd say that the worst thing she absolutely ever did was when she tried to have an affair with her own sister's husband. So Gayle catches feelings for Bob after he comes back high from the dentist and mistakes her for Linda. It's a total accident and Bob tries to explain it, but she's not having it.
Now, you're my boyfriend.
Oh God, listen, Gayle, I was heavily drugged, okay?
Tell no one.
Wait, no, Gayle.
Instead, she decides to play footsies with him under the table in front of the whole family. And okay, yeah, Linda knows all about it and even tries to tell Bob just to play along with it to spare her feelings, but it doesn't make it right. The fact that Gayle tried to destroy her own sister's family is seriously messed up.
We can't. Not here. It's too visible. We should do it in the forest.
Right.
Or the parking lot.
Great.
What makes it worse is that she already had a potential romantic partner in Dr. Yap. And sure, he's far from perfect, but she still chooses to go after Bob. It's like anything Linda has, Gayle wants it too. And her desperation to copy her sister's life could have blown up Bob and Linda's marriage for good. Her attempts to convince Bob that they're in a relationship aren't just selfish, but they're completely delusional. Gene. He isn't a bad kid, but he sure does mess up a lot. Like when he forgot the all-important black garlic for Bob's food competition.
What color is it?
It's black, Gene.
Yeah. Wait, what's black?
The garlic on the counter.
In the kitchen?
What did you do with the black garlic? It's not in the cooler.
Calm down, Dad. What is black garlic?
Oh.
Or when he lost the engagement ring.
I knew swimming made my wiener get weird and small, but my fingers?
Well, your tiny wiener finger just got us in big trouble.
And yes, these things were bad, but they weren't on purpose. They were just dumb mistakes. So let's now talk about the time where he actually knew he was doing something wrong, and did it anyway. Such as in the unbearable likeness of Jean. In the episode, Jean finds out that his classmate Courtney has a crush on him, but he's not into her at all, and at first he tries to be upfront about breaking things off. But everything changes once he meets her dad, who just so happens to be a professional musician, which is when Jean's musical ambitions kick in.
I just wanted to tell you that I like you.
Wah, really?
And instead of being honest, he decides to stick with the relationship just to get access to Doug's gear. But it all goes downhill at Courtney's birthday party, where in a fit of rage, he screams at her, which makes Courtney stop breathing.
Just stop singing, stop talking, stop breathing!
And it's here at the hospital where he finally comes clean.
You don't like me?
I like things about you, like your dad and his stuff.
But you know what, seeing as Jean is only 11, I'm sure we can cut him some slack. Gretchen. In season 3's My Fuzzy Valentine, Gretchen reveals this dark secret.
I called in a bomb threat once because I heard Mark Harmon was staying at this hotel. I wanted to see him evacuate, and then I stalked him for a year and hit his wife with my car.
And if that wasn't horrifying enough, she also admitted to this.
I also ran over Vinny Chesterverdi's wife.
So basically, she called a phony bomb threat, stalked a celebrity, and did not one, but 2 hit and runs. These are very serious crimes that could land her a lifetime in prison. So, Gretchen, you're naughty.
Oh, she's too much!
Really is.
Gloria. Bob can't stand his mother-in-law. Even the little sound she makes drives him up the wall.
I don't hate her, just the sound she makes, and her voice, and the things she says.
He hates her so much that when she came to stay once, he hid in the crawl space just to get away from her.
Bob can't fit in the wall. He's overweight. Mom. What? He can't hear me.
Yes, I can. I'm right here.
But I'd say she hits peak annoying in season 11's The Terminator 2 Terminals of Endearment. During a layover, Gloria calls Linda and asks her to drive an hour and a half just to drop off some eczema cream.
They don't sell anti-itch cream at the airport, Bob. That's one of the things that's wrong with our society.
Your parents know what's wrong with our society.
So the Belchers drop everything, close the restaurant, and make the long trip. And once they get there, Gloria sends them running all over the airport because she keeps wandering off. Then she tries to get back on the plane to grab a free in-flight magazine, and on top of that, she ends up fighting with the poor airport staff.
Fine, but I'm giving you a low score on the customer survey, and I will not forget your name, Delta.
As a former flight attendant, I had to deal with customers like this all the time. I remember one flight where this miserable old woman made my shift absolute hell, and just before she left, she looked at my name tag, then back at me, before giving me an evil smirk and reported me. Or so she said, because I never got done. I miss travelling, but I definitely don't miss that job. So thank you so much for watching my videos and letting this be my full-time job instead. Anyway, Gloria somehow finds a way to be even more annoying when Bob realises that she stole Linda's charger.
You're talking crazy, Bob.
This isn't your charger. Admit it.
No, I'm not admitting anything.
And Bob absolutely hates how little Gloria respects Linda.
And they never admit when they're wrong, and it drives me nuts because you're like the best daughter in the world.
To top it all off, they then sell the same itch cream at the airport, making their whole trip completely pointless.
When you have to drop everything to bring them itch cream an hour away.
Wait, itch cream? They sell itch cream here.
Oh my god.
Helen is on the list because she killed her husband. Simple enough, right? She loosened the nails out the balcony and watched him fall to his death. Helen was able to convince both the police and the Belcher family that she was innocent. But we as the audience know better. We saw the look she was giving, we saw the buried tools. She did it. She killed her husband. But on her second appearance, she almost caused another death. Just for context, Helen is one of Teddy's clients, and she was also a possible love interest for him. In Helen's first appearance, the Belcher family stayed with her in her beach house, but during this episode, things were different. While she played perfect hostess in her first episode, in her second episode, she dropped that nice facade and showed who she truly was. In this episode, Helen was looking for a tiny snail sculpture that her late husband left behind. She claimed that it has sentimental value, but she also implied that it was worth some money.
This thing has a lot of sentimental value for me. Maybe actual value, who knows?
The Belchers and Teddy helped her look for it in an old apartment complex that her husband used to own. They did end up finding it, but it was dropped on top of a broken elevator. But when Teddy went to go grab it, the elevator gave out and he was stuck dangling for his life. Everyone was panicking, except for Helen. She was focused on getting her little figurine back.
So, where's the next game now?
Helen! Hi!
Hi, Teddy.
She even tried to stop Bob from moving the elevator so that she can grab the figurine. Mind you, Teddy was seconds away from falling, but she didn't care. She just needed that snail. It's important to note that Teddy wasn't a stranger to her. He's been working with her for months at her beach house, and he believed that they were at least friends. But sadly, she didn't care if he lived or died. Thankfully, Bob ignored her and saved Teddy's life over the snail. Once she got her snail, she skimped out on giving any reward money that she initially promised and left for the auction house. But don't worry, karma got her back because she ended up tripping and breaking the snail figurine that she risked Teddy's life for. So, no money for her.
It broke! Stupid cat! Stupid snail! Stupid dead Larry!
So while Helen has only been in a couple episodes, she definitely left her mark on the series by being one of the only few people to have actually killed someone. But can we really blame her for her murderous tendencies? She's just a girl. In the words of the murderesses, he had it coming. Probably not, but you know. But we can definitely blame her for nearly killing Teddy. Just goes to show, be careful who you trust, because you really don't know people. You may not expect this next one, but Henry Haber is on this list. Henry is a character that tends to go unnoticed in both the school and the fandom itself. But Henry is a rather interesting little weirdo. He's done some good in the show, but he's also done some surprisingly bad things in order to get ahead. While popularity might not be his strength, he uses his knowledge of the social game in order to get what he wants. Henry is so smart, he was able to manipulate the outcome of a race for student body president by getting all of his opponents to either get disqualified or making them quit indirectly. He ended up winning by being a puppet master.
How can you play with people's lives like that? Who the hell do you think you are, Henry Haber? You're gonna be an amazing president.
And even though I wouldn't describe him as a bad person by any means, he's still highly manipulative when he has a goal in mind. And that was shown in episode UFO No You Didn't. In this episode, Tina and Sesmita were doing a school project together. They decided to do a project where they try to reach out and communicate with aliens. Henry strongly opposed them doing so and believed it was dangerous to try to reach out to unknown species.
Do not send out a signal.
This teacher has a point.
What? I'm not a teacher. I'm in your grade.
No, you're a teacher.
Tina and Sesmita wanted to do it anyways, so Henry had to act. While they were listening out for aliens, Henry paid Louise and Jean to help him trick Tina into thinking she actually made contact with aliens, which might sound helpful, but what he really did was tell her that aliens were coming to destroy the Earth and they only had 24 hours to possibly live while they decide what to do with Earth. Tina and Sesmita freaked out because they thought they doomed the human race. Tina then spent the rest of the day panicked, kissing boys, kissing more boys, cherishing her family, and taking in her possibly last day on Earth. Eventually, the so-called aliens told her that they weren't going to blow up Earth as long as they didn't contact aliens again. When Louise and Jean felt guilty for what they did, they told Tina the truth about Henry messing with her project and her mind. Tina told Sesmita, and they had a disagreement about the conclusion to their project. Henry made Sesmita think that reaching out would be a mistake, while Tina thought the world needs to reach out. At the end of the episode, Tina was able to make her point about the importance of reaching out for help, and this speech even sways Henry to change his stance on the issue. And in the end, Sesmita and Henry even confessed their feelings for each other in a very cute, nerdy way.
I hope the aliens destroy Earth right now.
So while Henry got a good ending and eventually did change his mind, he was definitely the bad guy in the scenario. He messed with their project to manipulate them and used Tina's siblings against her and ruined their science project and almost their friendship because he disagreed with what they were doing. And yes, he may have thought he was doing the right thing and protecting Earth, but it definitely plays into his secretly shady nature and just shows how well he knows how to play the social game. His plan almost worked in this episode, and in previous episodes his plans have worked. Henry is such a sleeper character that tends to be forgotten, but I see him for what he truly is. Yes, he's a nerdy guy, but he's also a master manipulator when it benefits him. Still love him, no, he is so underrated.
Hugo. Not only is he a health inspector, but he's also Linda's ex-fiancé. And ever since she chose Bob over him, Hugo held a serious grudge. He constantly abuses his power and looks for any excuse to shut down Bob's restaurant. In the very first episode, he closes the place over a completely ridiculous rumour about Bob serving human meat, something that could have been cleared up almost immediately.
Can't you do the test here instead of ruining my weekend?
Don't tell me how to do my job. I don't tell you how to grill your corpses.
Come here.
Nope.
But strangely enough, this ends up actually helping the business when a busload of curious cannibals shows up and are excited to try the so-called human burgers. But the worst thing that Hugo ever did was in season 11, because after the restaurant burns down, the Belcher kids get the blame, but it turns out that it was Hugo who started the fire. And okay, sure, it technically was an accident. He pulled out a bunch of greasy rags and they spontaneously combusted. But still, if Ron hadn't pressured him into admitting it, Hugo probably would have let the kids take the fall. Jimmy Pesto. I'm really spoiled for choice for this one, but I have to go with what he did in season 1's Burger Wars, where he tries to get Bob out of business so he could buy his restaurant and turn it into a gift shop. He didn't give a crap that this would make the Belchers homeless, he just wanted to make Bob suffer. Jimmy Jr. While he's not nearly as bad as his father, the way Jimmy Jr. treats Tina can be pretty cruel. Tina has spent years pining for him, only for him to be casually cruel towards her, and one of the worst examples was in season 8's V for Valentine Debtor, when he takes a handmade picture frame Tina gave him and uses it to display a photo of another girl called Becky.
I made him a special picture frame for Valentine's Day with a picture of us in it, but then he hung it in his locker with a picture of Becky in it.
Hey, what? That son of a bitch.
Only to immediately break things off with Becky so he could try and get together with Tina.
There just isn't anything here.
Are you joking?
Probably not. He does this stuff like a lot.
Wait, Tina, come back. I'll date you instead, if you want.
Jimmy Jr.'s flaws might be bad, but they're still the mistakes of a kid. But that excuse can't be used for the next one on our list. Linda. Holding people hostage seems to be a bit of a thing for the Belchers, and Linda's no exception, like when she opened up her own B&B and refused to let any of her guests leave by locking them in their rooms.
She just locked the door.
I don't know what's going on.
You can come out when it's time for the ice cream social.
You too!
But her most over-the-top moment comes in season 13's Mother Author Laser Pointer. Linda has fond memories of reading B. Cromwell Snell and Newt books to her kids. So when the author herself comes into the restaurant, Linda can't believe it. She only pops in to wait for a tow truck, but Linda takes the opportunity to convince Cromwell to continue the book series, something that she really isn't interested in. Linda does everything she can to stall her, even sending the truck back when it arrives and taking her keys.
I'd like to leave now.
Lynn? Maybe?
No, B, you don't understand.
You can't keep me trapped in here. Stop! Don't come any closer.
And when B flees in terror, Linda takes things even further by chasing her to Mort's.
We're not letting her in.
Mort, can you tell B I'm a very nice, normal person?
B's so scared for her safety, she logs Linda in a brutal full Nelson.
Canceling my tow truck? Taking my keys?
I also picked up a hair of yours that fell off your head to show the kids later. Sorry, I know it's weird.
It was a clear invasion of privacy and borders on harassment. And sure, she didn't go as crazy as Annie Wilkes from Misery, but she was definitely getting there.
Logan. With a name like Logan Berry Bush, he was bound to grow up mad at the world. When it comes to being a jerk, he will never run out of material. From stealing Louise's ears, to his mom making Bob give him a summer job just so he can blackmail them into letting him slack off, to even pelting children much smaller than him with hard snowballs just for fun. He thrives on making people's lives harder for no reason besides chaos. But there was one time where I felt his antics went too far, and that was in the episode Large Brother, Where Fart Thou? The conflict starts when Louise and Jean were left home alone. Louise convinced Jean to throw a rotting cantaloupe out the window for fun. And guess who it ended up hitting? Yep, that's right, Brainiacs, it was Logan. Naturally, he was furious and rescheduled his afternoon plans with his bros to instead torment these kids for their transgressions.
You guys go. I'm gonna figure out how to ruin Luisa's life for a while.
Alright, dude. We believe in you.
At first, he was going to tell their parents, but once he knew they were home alone, he wanted full-on revenge. At first, he couldn't physically get to them and took his frustrations out on a parked car in front. He then came up with a plan to call Louise, because I guess he has their number for some reason. Anyways, he calls her and tried to spook her on the phone.
Well, that's not menacing at all. It's relaxing, actually.
He then threw a shoe through their window and made them believe he somehow got inside the house. In a panic, they ran out and found out that Logan has tricked them into coming outside. He also had the nerve to ask for his shoe back after he was done torturing them. Not the bully making request. A chase ensues, shenanigans happen, and eventually they end up in shrimp costumes, cornered by Logan. He taunted them as Louise starts to beg to let them go. Logan refused until he puts her in a reverse Norwegian stink hold, which is a wrestling move that he planned to do to her. And for the first time in the entire series, Louise starts to cry out of fear. Louise has only cried a handful of times in this show, but this is the only time she cried because she was genuinely scared. Louise is usually fearless, but Logan is the only bully that she couldn't do anything to protect herself from. He is a full-grown teenager and she's only 9. Even though she can match his wit, he could still easily overpower her. Just when Logan was going to attack, Jean stepped in front of her after seeing his sister cry to protect her.
Wait, if you're gonna give anyone the reverse Norwegian stink hold, it's gonna be me!
Jean was very scared, but he refused to let Logan get to Louise. So Logan accepted Jean's sacrifice and did the reverse Norwegian stink hold on him instead. And then he finally left them alone. I personally love this episode because it's such a role reversal. Usually Jean's the scaredy cat and Louise is the one who is protective of him, but in this episode he put his fears aside and stepped up to protect his little sister. And seeing them hugging in the end is just really sweet. But this section is about how horrible Logan is. Logan has always been a jackass, and just looking at his parents, he's probably going to stay one forever. Being a jerk seems to run in their family. But this episode, he truly went above and beyond his usual antics. Stalking, chasing down, and assaulting children was definitely a new low for him, and trust me, he's been low. But making Louise cry like that made him downright evil in this episode.
Louise. Like mother like daughter, Louise isn't afraid to keep people hostage either, like when she ran an underground casino in the basement and locked Andy and Ollie in the cold storage and forced them to count money in their underwear. Louise has done plenty of wild stuff, easily enough to fill an entire video, and some of them are harmless fun, but other times her schemes have put the family in real danger, like in season 13's The Show and Tell Must Go On, where she nearly gets Tina killed. This is while searching for a cannonball in a flooded cave. She also once convinced her siblings to sneak into an abandoned taffy factory that was set to be demolished, and when her parents went in to rescue them, the whole family barely made it out in time. But if I had to pick her worst moment, it's got to be in season 3's Topsy. For a school science project, Louise decides to recreate one of Thomas Edison's infamous electricity experiments.
It was electrocuted to death on purpose in public by Thomas Edison!
She ropes Tina into becoming the test subject, makes her stand on a wide platform, and instructs Teddy to turn on the power. Louise completely ignores the obvious danger because she's caught up in the showmanship of the moment. That is until Tina pretends to get electrocuted and fools everyone at the science fair into thinking that she was actually killed. And even though Tina ends up fine, it's still bad.
God, I almost electrocuted my sister. I've become Edison.
Especially because earlier on in the episode, Louise almost hits her with the full power of the machine.
Wow! Well, I see your point. It is a little dangerous.
She could have seriously electrocuted her very own sister.
I'm sorry I nearly killed you. I got carried away with the Dinkler thing, which worked out pretty well, but still, I shouldn't have almost killed you.
Mickey. So of course we have to go with his very first appearance in season 2's Bob Day Afternoon, where he holds up a bank right across the street from Bob's Burgers. And sure, Mickey turns out to be mostly harmless, but at the end of the day, he's still held a group of people at gunpoint. Things could have gone very wrong, and someone could have easily been shot. Mike Wobbles. Mike the mailman is full of secrets, with one of them being...
I have a prison pen pal. He thinks my name is Michelle. Technically, he's my fiancé.
But lying to incarcerated inmates isn't the worst thing he's ever done. No, it has to be this very dark secret that he let slip.
Sometimes I just put the mail down the storm drain.
I know it.
A US postal worker throwing away mail is a federal crime.
Next is Millie. Oh, Millie. Millie. No list like this would be complete without Millie Frock. We all know the episode Fortnite where she trapped a bunch of kids in a dumpster on Halloween. She planned to keep them there all night in order to punish Louise for being mean to her.
Somebody's in friend jail, somebody's in friend jail, and friend jail lasts forever.
While she was out trick-or-treating, the dumpster collapsed and the kids almost got crushed underneath the weight. She nearly killed them, and that was just her introduction episode. And while that's definitely one of the worst things she's done, at the end of the day, she didn't mean to hurt them, you know? It wasn't intentional. I mean, trapping them was intentional, but you know, not the crushing part. So for this list, there's actually another episode where she actually hurts someone and shows the full scale of her crazy. And that's in episode The Militarian Candidate. I think I said that right. This episode was simple enough. There was a race for student body president going on between Jimmy Jr. and Henry Haver, but due to Henry's lack of popularity, Jimmy Jr. was a lock to win. That was until Henry told Millie the powers that would come being the president, power that she could use to control the school and by extension force Louise into being her best friend through a buddy system she wanted to implement.
Power.
To help.
Power.
You're focusing on the power.
Power.
I should...
At first, her chances of winning were actually pretty slim, but due to Louise accidentally tanking Jimmy Jr.'s campaign, Millie soon became a frontrunner. Louise even tried to run herself, but it looked like Millie was set to win. That was until Louise got a hint to look up some information. Once Louise learned this information, she confronted Millie in front of everyone. The entire reason Millie wanted to do this buddy system in the first place was so that she can force Louise into spending time with her. And Millie could get away with not looking obsessive by simply saying the buddies were determined alphabetically by first name. Her and Louise being together is just a coincidence. Or so was the plan. Unfortunately, she didn't know that there was a student between them, Abby, whose real first name was Mabel. So by Millie's own rules, it would be Abby paired with Louise, not Millie. Millie then started to freak out and made it clear to Louise that her and Louise will be best friends, even if that means that she has to get rid of Mabel herself. And then she proceeds to strangle Abby with her own 5-strand braid in front of the entire school. The level of insanity you have to try to take someone out with their own hair is beyond me. Everyone rightfully gasped in horror, and only then was she snapped out of her fit of rage.
Careful! That's a 5-strand braid! Took me a warning!
Millie!
Obviously, she got disqualified for attacking a student. Poor Abby had nothing to do with this. All that girl wants to do is braid her hair and braid other people's hair. She didn't deserve this. Louise thought she won, but she also got disqualified for stealing information out of Mr. Frond's office, meaning that Henry Haber won the election by default, which happened to be his plan all along, to get everyone else to take each other out so that he'd be the last one standing. It was masterful. Anyways, I would say that this is one of the worst things Millie did. She's done a lot of bad things in this show, but this is the first time she physically harmed another person for her own selfish reasons. And from this episode on, she did continue this concerning behavior. I'm pretty sure she fought a gnome, and he was a grown gnome too. And she got banned from her pixie parade because she got into a physical altercation with an adult. And he was scared of her. That girl ain't right.
Mort. The worst thing this funeral director has ever done was sit in Teddy's seat.
Is Mort sitting on my stool?
No.
Jokes aside, Mort really isn't a bad guy. But if I had to pick something, it would have to be in season 1's Hamburger Dinner Theatre, where he plays the victim in Linda's play, and to make the scene even more realistic, he decides to use actual blood and guts from his work. It sprays all over the audience and ends up getting the restaurant shut down.
Just a lot of fake blood and fake organs.
Right, fake.
which, you know, is more gross than bad, but if any of that blood and guts got into someone's mouth or an open cut, it could have easily spread disease.
Mr. Ambrose. Mr. Ambrose is absolutely one of my favorite characters on the show. A while ago, I did a nearly 2-hour video explaining all of his shenanigans on the show. And if you're saying that's insane, it actually very much is. If I learned anything while making that video, I learned that Mr. Ambrose is crazy. His motto in life is do it for the plot, and he spreads that message of chaos to all who will listen. He has no business being around children.
Can I see your coffee mug for a second?
It's not coffee, but I guess a sip wouldn't kill you.
Picking one bad thing he's done was difficult because he's done so much to wreak havoc on that school. From encouraging Louise to uncover the truth about Topsy.
Do I know you?
You told me about Topsy.
Tell everyone about Topsy.
Scheming with Lavanz to steal field trip money. Encouraging kids to use power tools.
Destroy school property? Definitely don't do that.
Do that. Do that.
Or convincing Tina to be a witch but bailing on her when it backfired.
You're playing with powerful forces. This is not kid stuff.
I am powerful forces.
Witch, please!
But I think the episode that he did the absolute most on was Gene and On. In this episode, Mr. Ambrose is put in charge of the cheer squad. It's important to note that Mr. Ambrose did not want this position. He wanted drama club, but Miss Lavanz got it instead.
Great job.
I hate cheerleading.
He was bored and miserable leading the cheer squad until he realized that he had free will and can make these kids do whatever he wanted because he's the adult in the situation and they have to listen to him. So this man decided to interject drama into the squad and treat them as a cast of characters. Gene and Todd were casted as the lead stars, aka bitter rivals, while everybody else was reduced to background characters.
Your arch rival is Todd.
He is?
Yeah, the bitter, boozy old Yell King. And Todd, you hate Gene. He threatens everything you are.
Already there.
At every turn, he pushed for drama. He pushed for Gene to take a leadership role behind Todd's back. He pushed them to have a cheer off where Todd ended up losing in front of everyone. And then after he lost, he pushed Todd to get revenge on Gene.
Do you want me to get dirty?
No, that's not what we do here. Get dirty!
Yeah, I want to get dirty.
And this resulted in Todd having a bully attack Gene. It was his failed attempt to try to get Gene to quit the squad. But Gene was stubborn and he wasn't going to quit no matter what. And when meddling in their personal relationships got boring, Mr. Ambrose had no choice but to escalate. He entered the squad in a cheer competition and somehow they made it to the finals. But there was a catch. They had to perform a brand new routine by tomorrow.
Oh, and it's tomorrow and you need a brand new groundbreaking original routine. Don't look at me, I'm busy! What?
And of course, Mr. Ambrose was not going to help him because that's going to ruin the drama. Thankfully, Gene was able to pull a routine together for the squad. But that's not dramatic, that's boring. So in retaliation, Mr. Ambrose leaked their new routine to a rival school, and the kids had to watch those children perform their routine that they spent all night making.
Why? Because having your cheer stolen 5 minutes before you perform is incredibly dramatic. Now you really have to scramble.
Todd was right. He is literally the worst cheer advisor. They had to come up with something quick. The only thing they could think to do is a super dangerous stunt that Linda came up with for their routine. Mr. Ambrose encouraged them to do this crazy stunt, knowing they would likely fail.
Stop, no, I never meant it to come to this, it's too risky. Do it.
They tried the stunt and of course started to fall. Only then did Mr. Ambrose grow a little bit of a conscience as he ran over to catch the kids before they all break their necks. Why did he do it? Well, catching the kids would complete his character arc. In his head, he went from a jaded cheer coach to a coach with a heart of gold. And for some even crazier reason, he believed that they would win. They didn't. They got last place. Mr. Ambrose was perfectly fine though. He did want to be carried off dramatically though, just for the vibes, just for the drama. And personally, I admire his theatrics. Not only did he cause unnecessary drama between two kids, got Gene purple nurpled, and got Todd dethroned off the squad that he loves, but he also made them work hard on the cheer only to turn around and leak it to the other team. And on top of that, the worst part is him encouraging them to do an incredibly dangerous stunt, all for the sake of his personal amusement. This is absolutely deplorable, villainous behavior, and I loved every minute of it. Oh, Mr. Ambrose, what would we do without you?
I don't care if I'm okay. Carry me off. It's more dramatic.
Mr. Bronca. Bronca is a chill janitor at Wagstaff. Not only is he cool with everyone from the faculty, he's cool with the kids. But he also takes pride in his job. Not only does he bond with kids, but he also helps anyone who needs him. From what we see of him, he's a kind, helpful, humble man. But what you might not know, he actually might have a shady past. In the Militarian episode, Mr. Bronca indirectly implied that he may have been a tyrannical president of a faraway country a long time ago. And not only that, but he was so awful to his citizens that they revolted against him and overthrew him. And when asked directly about this, he just simply said it was a coup.
I was an amazing president.
What happened?
Cool.
So I don't know what he did to make them so mad, but it couldn't have been good. You don't get overthrown for being overly nice and considerate. But yeah, the theory is he got overthrown and fled to the US to start a new life. Again, I don't know what he did, but maybe it's better that we don't know. And if anything else, at least we know that he has a great sense of fashion.
I like clean lines and simple silhouettes.
Honestly, he should host Project Runway. But then again, maybe he shouldn't be in charge of anything ever.
Mr. Fischoeder. As the owner of the Wonder Wharf amusement park, as well as most of the other properties on Ocean Avenue, including Bob's restaurant, Calvin is the richest man in town. But despite his enormous wealth, he's always looking to make more. And he's more than willing to put lives at risk just to get more money. Take season 1's Torpedo. The town's minor league baseball team is stuck in a losing streak until their pitcher, Torpedo Jones, starts using grease from Bob's burgers to improve his throw. Bob's naturally upset by his hero cheating, but Mr. Fischoeder brushes it off, taking Bob on a walk through Wonder Wharf and casually admits that all the games are rigged. Then he drops another bombshell that he's slowly dismantling the park's roller coaster piece by piece just to increase the stadium's seating.
Whoa, watch out! Extra nuts and bolts! Ow!
The coaster is literally falling apart as nuts and bolts drop to the ground.
Oh, just kick him. Kick him right into the ocean.
Okay.
That's it.
But Bob isn't convinced that cheating and cutting corners is right. So, at the next game, Bob gets on the speaker and tries to convince Gene not to cheat in the mascot race. That's when Fischoeder pulls out a freaking gun and starts shooting at Bob.
What are you doing? It's a starter's pistol.
It's a real gun. You should get down.
What?
His greed and corner cutting finally catches up with him when the roller coaster completely collapses. No one got hurt, but it easily could have ended in death and disaster. Mr. Frond. As the school's guidance counselor, kids are supposed to be able to come to him in confidence to share their most inner secrets, but he completely breaks their trust in season 1's Lobsterfest.
That thing you told me? In confidence? Say it.
I rubbed my genitals on the couch!
It's not just embarrassing for poor Nicholas, but it's wildly inappropriate. Frond was supposed to be someone that the students could trust, and instead, he humiliated the kid in front of the entire school.
Miss Lavanz. Miss Lavanz is a hardworking, underpaid school teacher at Wagstaff. For the most part, Lavanz is a dedicated teacher who's been teaching there for a long time. Fun fact, she actually taught all 3 of the Belcher children during their time at Wagstaff. Miss Lavanz is the type of gal who just wants to do her job and go home. On the weekends, you can catch her at Pickles or even just chilling in her backyard with her coworkers. So you have to wonder, what's the worst thing she can do? And to that I would say, fraud and theft. In the episode Silence of the Louise, she proved just how far she was willing to go to get what she wants. For the most part, Lavanz is a good teacher, but when she wanted better coffee for the teacher's lounge, she wasn't going to let anything stand in her way. She didn't act alone, however. With Mr. Ambrose and Mr. Frond as her accomplices, they schemed together to steal the field trip money from the school and use that to buy their coffee pods. Not the machines, the pods.
The machine was cheap, but the pods are incredibly expensive.
They thought that they could get away with it because they didn't believe the children would be able to win the field trip. After all, To win, the kids would have to read 500 books. And as far as the teachers knew, these kids weren't the smartest bunch. However, they bet it wrong.
He swore you kids would never read 500 books.
Of course I did. Look at them.
For the right motivation, these kids were willing to do anything, including reading 500 books. When the kids did the impossible and won the field trip, they had to come up with a bigger scheme to cover their tracks. Miss Lavanz suggested to gruesomely tear apart one of Mr. Frond's therapy dolls, blame a kid, and get the water park trip canceled. That way they can keep their coffee machine and their jobs. Unfortunately for them, Louise and Millie teamed up to solve the crime, and they all got caught. In order to keep themselves from getting in trouble, they had to come up with the field trip money themselves, and they ultimately decided to do a car wash. So honestly, they got off pretty easy for stealing money from a school. Stealing a bunch of kids' field trip money was absolutely a low point for Miss Lavanz. She may have had to pull out her Daisy Dukes for the car wash, but hey, at least she got her coconut macchiato to soothe her pain. A win is a win.
This isn't coconut, this is hazelnut.
Miss Selbo. Miss Selbo is known as the gossip queen of the Wagstaff faculty. If there's any dirt to be known, better believe she'd be the one to tell you. You might not expect much out of her, given her plain appearance, and you may wonder why is she even on this list. After all, just spreading rumors is tame compared to what other characters on this list have done. But underneath that properly tied up hair and kind disposition is an insane woman, and all you have to do is look at the episode Bob Actually to know why. In this episode, Miss Selbo wasn't at school. Instead, she visited Bob's Burgers claiming to take a personal day. She confided in Linda that her boyfriend Martin broke up with her out of nowhere and totally blindsided her. And to make things worse, he was currently across the street at Jimmy Pesto's. She gets a burger and thanks Linda for the good food. In return, Linda told her to keep her head up. In a few days, she'll feel better about everything. After all, they just broke up. But you see, they didn't just break up. They actually broke up a whole year ago. This deeply confused Linda because from the way she was acting, it seemed like she just broke up with him at Jimmy Pesto's. But what really happened is Miss Selbo was following Martin and sat at Bob's Burgers to watch him eat from across the street. And she also revealed that this wasn't her first time stalking him. She's been sleeping outside his house, she stole his dog, and she peed on his mail and watched him eat a sandwich with that same hand.
No, you wouldn't do those things.
But I did. I did those things.
Linda was of course very alarmed by this. She tried to help the situation by getting Miss Selbo to find closure with her ex. And she also suggested for her to possibly seek professional help. She went to go get Martin and made it clear to Miss Selbo that she wasn't allowed to stab him.
You can't stab him though, okay?
You're so sweet to me. Wait, I can or I can't? You probably said can't.
She brought Martin over and y'all, Miss Selbo was making out with a random customer. She tried to rub it in Martin's face and claimed that she had a serious boyfriend now. Martin did not care and just asked if he could have his dog back. Miss Selbo called him desperate but said fine, so at least she's giving his dog back. He thanked her for finally returning his pooch and promptly left, and I guess Miss Selbo has a new lover. So while she may seem harmless, she is anything but. She's actually quite insane, and she needs a very talented and dedicated therapist.
Ollie and Andy. I'm lumping these two together because they're inseparable. And the last time they were split up, they had a total meltdown. So I'd say the worst thing that these two ever did was when Louise locked them in a freezer to count money, they stole a tomato.
I stole a tomato, I'm sorry!
And yeah, I am joking because these boys are pretty harmless. Well, maybe not that harmless, because in season 11, Some Kind of Fender Bender, they accidentally cause a car crash while building a scarecrow. This was after the cantaloupe that they were using for a head rolled into the street. And sure, it wasn't intentional, but someone could have got seriously hurt. Regular sized Rudy. This one's tough because Rudy is such a little angel. Or a regular sized angel. So I really struggled to think of anything bad that he's done. The only thing that really came to mind was in season 4's The Kids Rob a Train, when he helps the Belcher kids sneak out of the kid's car and steal a bunch of chocolate. But to be fair, he paid the ultimate price when his beloved beanbag got ripped open.
Oh, I guess I was wrong.
I hope you're happy. It was beautiful.
But then Terry also reminded me that he counterfeited coins in order to get prizes in class. He was scared of being caught, but at the same time, he just liked the rush of the crime. Robert Big Bob Belcher. Before Bob ever got the chance to flex his creative muscles with his inventive burger ideas, his father, Big Bob, had his own views on how things should be done in the kitchen. In Father of the Bob, flashbacks show how he dismissed Bob's gimmick burgers and insisted on doing things his own way.
Get out! Take your jokey burger specials and go!
Fine!
And that rejection pushed Bob into leaving to open up his own restaurant. But Big Bob's flaws don't make him a villain. At least he eventually learns to admit when he's wrong, even telling Bob he understands why their relationship has been so difficult. And for all of his faults, Big Bob has shown that growth is possible, even if it does take decades. Sergeant Bosco. So, when I put this list together, my mind went straight to the time where he put Bob in serious danger by sending him into a hostage situation. Bob could have easily gotten shot, not by the bank robber, but the actual police.
What is wrong with you people? Stop this!
Who is this?
It's Bob!
It's Fatty.
But then I remembered something even worse, like in Season 3's My Fuzzy Valentine, where Bosco casually drops this chilling line.
Hi there, I'm part of a secret society. We hunt men for sport.
Yeah, the guy who's supposed to protect and serve apparently spends his free time hunting people for fun. And that might just be the darkest thing on this list. Tammy. This girl is just the worst. She's so awful she even has her own villain wiki page. So I'm totally spoiled for choice with this one. I mean, how about that time she destroyed Tina's photo that would have given her a passing grade in photography? Or when she made up a story about Tina being the mad pooper.
Our top story is Tina the Mad Pooper. And what if WSN had an exclusive video confession?
Me, Tina, are Mad Pooper.
But if I had to just pick one moment, then it's gotta be her debut in Season 2's Bad Tina. In it, Tammy transfers to Wagstaff, and Tina, being the sweet, awkward kid she is, offers to be her friend and show her around. She even trusts her enough to share her erotic fiction.
Tina reached towards Jimmy Jr.'s butt. Your lips say no, but your butt says yes? This is hilarious!
Tammy immediately becomes a bad influence on her though. She convinces Tina to sneak boys over while her parents are out and even pressures her to steal her mum's margarita mix so they can all get drunk. The next day, Tammy wants Tina to skip school, and when Tina refuses, Tammy threatened to read her erotic fiction in front of everyone.
But you said if he ever saw it, he'd never talk to me again.
Yeah, it's called a threat.
Oh.
From there, it only gets worse. Tammy basically forces Tina to erase her identity and dress exactly like her. Then she pushes her to sneak out again and meet at the park with more alcohol. When Tina gets caught and grounded, Tammy gets mad and says she's going to humiliate her by reading her story aloud the next day.
You're going down, Tina!
This forces Tina to get ahead of Tammy and read out her erotic fiction herself, in front of everyone. But karma comes to bite Tammy in the stinky bum when she farts in front of everyone.
No, I didn't do it! It wasn't my butt! No, it wasn't me! No!
So yeah, Tammy doesn't just bully people, she tries to completely take over their lives. Tina. Look, I love Tina, she's one of my favourite characters in this show, but her obsession with boys can easily cross into creepy territory. Like the time where she spied on the boys' locker room and told them all to drop their towels.
Drop the towel.
There it is again.
Drop the towel.
Her voyeurism is a gross invasion of privacy and is an actual serious crime. And I will get more into this problematic aspect of Tina in her upcoming Love Life video, so keep an eye out for that one. Teddy. If there's anyone in the world that the Belchers can rely on, it's definitely Teddy. But saying that, he has actually come close to killing them once. In Season 7, See Me Now, Teddy takes the family out on his new boat, and while trying to impress his ex-wife, he ends up crashing the ship, and instead of checking the boat over, he rides it out into the sea.
Does that smoke look extra smoky to you guys?
Teddy, when's a good time to tell you there's water coming into the boat? Is now a good time, or should I?
Oh, no. That's not ideal.
But at least they have a flare gun to call for help.
Well, we've got one flare, so this has to be the perfect shot. Ha.
After screwing that up, he then steers them to an island, but not before crashing into some rocks.
Yeah, why not? Why not hit a couple of rocks? Oh!
Eventually, they're rescued by an old guy that lives on the island, but Teddy still manages to make the situation worse by accidentally burning everyone's stuff.
I'm pretty sure all of our wallets and stuff are on there.
Oh, yeah? Huh.
So yeah, these were a long string of accidents, but still, Teddy could have killed his best friends. Zeke. I was originally gonna pick the time where he was the mad pooper and left logs all over the school, but I think a more serious example comes from the season 14 episode Believe It or Not. Zeke comes face to face with an old victim of his bullying.
Will never bullied me or anyone.
What?
Come again?
I was the bully.
And even though he eventually apologizes, which is commendable, bullying is still the worst. And phew, we've come to the end of the video. Thank you so much to Terry for helping me out with this video, and seriously, she's amazing.
If you guys like Bob's Burgers videos, don't be afraid to pop over to my channel. But be warned, my videos are long and a little bit chaotic. I was keeping things cute for Lydia, but we definitely have fun over at my channel. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and again, thank you, Lydia. Bye!